Hare Krishna everyone. I warmly welcome you all for today's session. I hope you all are all doing amazingly good. The facilitator for today's session is Her Grace Sashimukhi Haripriya Devidasi Mataji. She's a Bhakti Yoga practitioner who has been actively serving and inspiring others to take up devotional services. She has completed B.Pharm from Delhi University and holds a MS in Pharmacoinformatics from the National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. She is currently working as a lead analyst in a UK-based consultancy firm. She has been providing procurement advisory for Fortune top 10 pharmaceutical clients. She has been practicing the principles of Bhagavad Gita for the past 8 years and also propagating it to the youth. She has rendered various range of services in the past, like assisting in the Suddha Sattva restaurant during the festivals, coordinating and organizing programs in the IYS, outreach events. She's currently involved in kids preaching through the BPSS and also part of the Q&A team supporting Study Gita. She's also pursuing her Bhakti Sastri course from the famous Mayapur Institute. Mataji is a very simple and sincere aspirant of Bhakti Yoga and cherishes hearing and discussing Krishna conscious philosophy. She has been attending morning programs consistently and thus making her the right person to speak on today's topic, that is opportunity knocks for a prize. Hope this session will be very useful to all of you. IYS is a Iskcon Youth Services of Chennai Temple. It's a forum created by women, for women, and of women. Here we discuss and learn to practically apply the ancient spiritual wisdom in our modern contemporary lives. We also conduct specially curated sessions to address modern issues with Vedic principles and take pleasure in discussing various aspects of spirituality. If you're unable to attend any of these sessions, you can hear the recording. The link for the recording will be sent in the Iskcon Youth Services WhatsApp group. So if you haven't joined already, I request you to kindly join. We share spiritually inspiring messages, darshan pictures, and announcements for various programs, events, or festivals. The link for the group will be shared in the chat window. If you have any questions during the session, please post them in the chat window and the facilitator will respond to your queries. If you have any personal queries which are very uncomfortable sharing, you may write to us at the email ID which will be shared in the chat window. Also request you to kindly fill the feedback form towards the end of the session. This will help us serve you better. We value your suggestions and your opinions matter to us. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Thank you for the introduction. So, Hare Krishna, everyone. I welcome you all for today's session. And before starting, yes, today is a very wonderful festival. So, happy Ugadi and happy Gudi Padwa to everybody there. So, let's begin with the prayer session and then we'll start the class. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakhaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Gunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Ladita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shri Nam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunavadi Paschatya Tarini Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya Evacha Patitaram Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratasve Namo Panchatattvamakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Sharupakam Bhakta Vataram Bhakta Shamnami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastuti Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Shri Radha Krishna Krishna Shrimati Jai Pataka Swami. Hare Krishna. So am I audible to everybody? Hare Krishna. Yes. Okay, thank you for confirming. Okay, just hold on for a minute. I'll be sharing my PPT. So is the PPT visible clearly? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thank you. So Hare Krishna, and once again, I welcome you all for today's session. Thank you all for taking your time and being here for today's discussion. So today we'll be discussing on opportunity knocks for the price. So I'm pretty sure the topic would have, gave you some understanding or some idea of like what we'll be talking about. So we all know, to achieve success in any field of life, to achieve anything, somebody wants to become a film star, somebody wants to become a politician, somebody wants to become, IITN, whatever. Then we need to, put in our efforts. We need to go through, that pain, the risk. We have to go through the tension, stress, anxiety, and we have to manage so many things while in order to achieve the destination or the success that we want to achieve in life. So before beginning, so I would want to know, according to you all, what do you think is required for anybody, to become successful in life? So if you can type in the chat window, I can see them, or if you can unmute also, that's okay. So do we have some responses? I think get out of the comfort zone. Okay, yes. So it comes under Krishna's mercy. Very good point. And what else is required? I mean, if somebody, a person becomes successful, then what has he done? Has he not put in a lot of hard work, effort, discipline? Again, yes, wonderful. Determination, very wonderful point. Yes, consistency, right? Dedication. Good. So most of you have replied like the determination, consistency, dedication, which is all related to, the attitude. So person should be disciplined, means he has to carry that attitude, have the determination to act. The Krishna's mercy will fall under another title. Yeah, I'll discuss later. And then getting out of the comfort zone is again a part of, attitude, because have to be, not we don't have to be lethargic. We have to be active. So I think one more response we have, devoted. Very wonderful point. So today we'll cover all these aspects that you have mentioned here. So yes, so let's begin. So as I asked you, what is required to be successful? So most of you mentioned so we'll be talking about this principle of CCD. So whatever you all mentioned, whatever it's hard work, patience, or attitude, discipline, determination, it's all will come under this category called competence. So competence means you need to have those skills. A person, cannot become a good writer if he doesn't have that writing skills. A person cannot, act if he doesn't know the acting. So skills is very important. We need to have that right skills to, to make a career or to progress in that path. Similarly, knowledge. You have to have that knowledge base. We should be well equipped ourselves. We have to have the right wisdom for that, whatever we are going to do. Like somebody wants to venture into a business, you should have the complete understanding to how to run it, and have to plan. So many things are involved. And then the most other important aspects, which most of you told, was attitude. So yes, we need to have, the determination, discipline, consistency, and all those factors, that is required, to in order to us to put in our efforts and to come out successful. Now, if I ask you again, can we all think something else apart from, so we talk about skills, attitude, knowledge. Now, can we think of some other perspectives or other thing that is required along with this competence? And for your reference, there's, C. I mean, it starts with C. I'm just giving you a reference for this. And any guesses so far? Would somebody want to try? I have one response. Cooperation. It's a good attempt. Nice. Okay, so in the interest of time, I'll just tell you. So it's actually character. So see, we may have those skills, the knowledge, the attitude, and right competence, but it's very important to have the right character also, the moral values, the ethics, the principles, the integrity that we hold, because only then a person can carry on with the success. Otherwise, you cannot deal with the success. You cannot does not know what to do with it. So that is why character is very important. And to give you an example, I would tell. So all of you, I don't know, most of you, if you watch cricket, especially, you would have seen there was one player named Srishant. So later, so he was a good player. I mean, he was getting all name, fame, publicity, everything he was gaining. But unfortunately, he was caught up in a match fixing case. So that is why, and then the complete career got ruined. So that's why, along with this competence, right? We have to have this character. And how do we build on that character? So for that, D is required. And what is that D? Somebody had mentioned about it. It's like devotion. Somebody said devoted. So very rightly pointed out, yes, we need the devotion, because all these inner values, these all comes when we have, when we connect ourselves with Supreme, and then only, inner purification will happen. And then we can connect ourselves to the divine. So these three things are very, very important for anybody to, to have an everlasting, to have lifelong, go on ahead with this successful, be it career, business, or whatever, in any field of life. So having said that, now let's move on and understand another principle which is very important for somebody. Somebody has opportunity in place and really wants to invest in the opportunity, but before doing that, he has to do this thing called cost benefit analysis. So what is this cost benefit analysis? So it is like whenever somebody is venturing into a new project, new business, or anything new, somebody wants to uh, try a new career, anything. So what they have to do, they have to analyze whether it is the right choice for them or not. For them, what they see, what is the input and what is the output. So our input here is the cost and output here is the benefit. So the cost will include all the parameters, like, how much time I'm going to invest in this project or in this new venture, how much energy I'm going to invest, how much financially, how much money I have to put in. So all these things are very, very important. I mean, if a person analyzes, like, these are the things I'll be putting it, and what am I going to get out of it? So what is the profit out of it, the benefit, what I'm going to get out of. So once a person does this analysis, and then he takes a decision when the benefit or the profit outweighs this, the input part, the cost part, and then he analyzes and then he says, okay, let's move ahead. So that is how any material project works out, right? For anything. Similarly, when a person takes any career decision also, they have to think, okay, what am I going to gain after it? This is my passion, I want to do this, and I'm going to achieve this, and what are the things that I'm going to input into it? So, but at the same time, you have to understand any venture, it does not guarantee success. Like, a person may put his money, put his time and energy, but success is not guaranteed. So he's actually taking a risk. And somebody who's willing to take that risk, willing to take that pain or struggle or the hardships, will only, eventually turn out to be successful. So without that part, I mean, somebody cannot say, I have done the cost benefit analysis and now I will gain this much profit. No, this cannot happen. Nobody knows. So he has to be prepared. He has to be ready that this is a risk involved. Similarly, a student, let's say, it is preparing for a competitive exam. So what he has to do, he will understand, okay, if I pass this, my life, my life will be set. I'll get a good job. I'll get to the most prestigious university, and I'll have all the comforts of life. But what is there? He also understands this fact that with this, I have to also, take this I have to put in my lot of hard work, a lot of effort. I have to give up certain things. So this is all is required when somebody is willing to, is planning, to have a goal in mind, or is moving towards that goal. So I'll give example. So when Reliance Jio, I think all of us would have used this Geo SIM, and I think most of us have it now also. So when Mr. Ambani, he wanted to enter into this field, everybody was opposing him. They were telling, oh, come on, why are you wanting to venture into this project? Already you have, Airtel, Vodafone, big players, Tata, Idea, and so many are there. Why you want to invest? You already have a wonderful business. But this person had a different thought process. He came with a unique idea, and what he focused on, rather than focusing on the calling part, he actually focused on the internet part. So he was not charging for the calling services, was only charging for the internet part, and that became a huge success. So was it not that Mr. Ambani was facing a lot of opposition? Yes, he was facing. And was he not aware that market is already flooded with established players? Yes, he was aware. But what did he do? He was willing to take that chance. He was willing to take that risk. He was willing to go through anything that might happen in this new venture. And eventually he emerged victorious. And we see today, Jio is having the highest market share in the market. Like this, we can go on putting, several examples like Amazon, Ola, Uber, so many, services that we use. So if you go ahead and analyze all this, you will see that with every success, there was a huge amount of input. That is the hard work, the efforts, and energy was invested. At the same time, the people were prepared. They were very much well aware that, okay, we may not get the success, and they were ready to take that risk. So from here we understand that from material life, to get successful, we have to pay something. We have to pay the price. So this title was opportunity knocks for a price. So here we understand that to achieve anything in any field of life materially, we have to give that price. We have to be ready to face all the struggles or the hardships or anything that is going to come along its way. So this is for the material life. Now let's understand that only having a goal which is material in nature is enough. So let's do this analysis. So just herein I've just tried to put up. So we understand from these examples that for material success, be it for a student, for a businessman, or for a player, for anybody, they have to put in a lot of hard work, effort, energy, and all these things are required. But what are they going to get? Is the success eternal or lifelong, or it's just temporary? So let's see this. So we see here material goal, the cost means the input, the efforts that we have to give in is very high. And similarly for spiritual life also, it's very high. Now for benefit in this life, it depends on karma. Like somebody has good karma, he will be much victorious, and somebody is but sometimes many people put in a lot of effort, but they don't turn out to be victorious. But what about the spiritual things? If you aspire for spiritual things, so it's said, the Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Neha Vikramo Nashu Asti Pratyavayo na Vidyate Swa Alpam Asi Dharmasya Trayato Mahato Bhavan. Means what? Even if little amount of endeavor you take on this path of spiritual journey, it stays with you forever. Swa Alpam. Alpam is very less. Even if little amount you do. So whatever, this path, there is no loss or diminution. Krishna is guaranteeing us this. And benefits for this material goal, what will happen if the person dies? Everything will just go. He will not be able to take a single penny or anything, name, fame, money. Nothing is going to go with that person. But in spiritual life, what is going to happen? 100% success. Why? Because even if we have done this much, it is going to get carried with us in our next life. So there is no loss, absolutely no loss. And success is guaranteed here. So materially, so for material life, people are striving so much. So what do you think about spiritual life? Will it come so easy? Do we not have to really, think from this perspective, like just to achieve material things, which is temporary in nature, which will just, end with this very life? We have to put in so much of hardships, and several examples exist. We can go on quoting like how person has faced through it. For example, let's say somebody who is a weightlifter, does he not have to work day and night and torture his muscles to make it strong? Yes, he has to, because he wants to achieve that goal. Similarly, an athlete, does he not have to put in a lot of tremendous pain, efforts, and practicing? Yes, he has to do that. Similarly, for any, for all this, material elements, also material aspects of life also, a person has to put in so much. So nothing comes easy. So there's it's a quote line, no pain, no gain. So we're not going to gain anything if you're not ready to pay the price for it. We have to pay. In Hindi also we say, na, kuch paane ke liye kuch khona padta hai. So yes, similarly, the spiritual life, the spiritual goal is the highest. It is the topmost goal of life. Because see, we have entered this material world because we wanted to enjoy. Now, if we have to get out of this material world, then what we have to do? We have to pay the price. So that's why. So we have to be ready to, pay that price. So that is why. So now, moving ahead, we'll be discussing on why the spiritual goals, we have our spiritual goals, and how it will not come so easy. We have to, in order to please Krishna, we have to prove to him, Krishna, see, I'm ready, Krishna. I'm ready to pass all the tests. I'm willing to do anything for you. And then only we can gain Krishna's mercy. Then only Krishna will see that, oh, this person is really sincere and he really wants, to progress in the spiritual life. So let's move ahead. So the question here is how to transform challenges into opportunities. So in this section, what we'll be doing is we'll be trying to evaluate different personalities from scriptures, from real life, and try to understand like how they have, crossed this path of crossed these challenges and made their life successful. So here is a quote from Bhagavatam which says, Tatte no kampam susamikshmano, bhunjan evatma kritam vipakam, hridvag vipurbhir vidadhan namaste, jiveta yo mukte pade se daya bhag. So this means that person who has to, in order to achieve success, eternal success, he has to be really, patiently wait for the mercy of the Lord to flow. And that is how he's going to. So we'll see through the examples. So here you can see on the screen this first example of Dhruva Maharaj. So we know story of Dhruva. So see, I'll not be going to the details of the story because I'm assuming that most of you know this. So we'll just quickly go to the life of Dhruva. So how old was Dhruva Maharaj? He was just a 5-year-old boy, and he was a son of a king. But what did he do? Once the stepmother chastised him, he took it very seriously. He went to his mother, and the mother advised him, no, I can't do anything. You need to go and find God. He only can do something for you. So he took that word so seriously, and he went left. Completely. He was so determined. He just left his home and he went in the forest. For what? In search of God. So whoever he was meeting, he was just simply asking, do you know where is God? Do you know where is God? Like that. So he was just a small boy belonging from a, such a, kingly family, and he had to, undergo. And what did he do? After going there, he met Narad Muni, and Narad Muni first tested him. And when he passed the test, then Narad Muni gave him the, the way to achieve God. And he started he had complete faith on Guru's word, and he started doing, completely surrendered himself, and he started, asked all the austerities, all the penances. He went on doing, lot of austerities for 6 months. He continuously prayed to achieve Narayan, and he continuously did it. And eventually what happened, pleased by his endeavors. So what did the Guru Maharaj do all those 6 months? I mean, it's mentioned like how he, was completely, first he started with eating only the fruits, and then how he went on to, started surviving only on water, and then how he started, surviving only on the air, and like that he was getting control, and so much of austerities he did. So was it not a lot of hard work involved? Was it not a lot of pain involved for a small 5-year-old boy? Can we understand what was the need for him to do? But he risked his life. Because in the forest, we can't even imagine going alone to, at night 10, after around 12 o'clock or something. But look at this boy completely alone in the jungle and without any fear, and he's just thinking about that, how to achieve God. So that is the price he paid, and that is why Narayan had to come to give his mercy. When Indra was, very much shaken, like, oh, wow, this person, he wants to take my position. So we see from the example of Dhruva Maharaj that yes, we cannot achieve anything in life just for free. If we want for spiritual benefit, and when he found God, you know what he told? I was looking for broken pieces of glasses, and what I got is diamond. So through bhakti, it is not that whatever material ambitions he had is completely gone away. when he saw God, he was feeling ashamed of himself. He prayed for something like so material in nature, and he's going, and Lord has to come for him to fulfill that. He was ashamed of it. So that is what God gives realizations also. So that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. That is the beauty of bhakti, the spiritual journey. And we have to understand that nothing comes free. No pain, no gain. We have to, put in a lot of efforts to achieve that goal. So he wanted a kingdom greater than his father. For that, he had to do austerity. And finally, he got it. See, even though he realized that material things will not give him happiness, but still, Lord Narayan, he knew his heartfelt desire that why he came here. So he gave him this made him pole star, like he gave him the complete planet, Dhruvalok. So that is how Krishna reciprocates when he's pleased. Similarly, like when we want to, achieve anything in life, especially we want to do bhakti and we want to get out of this material world, we want to achieve Krishna prem, then we have to prove to Krishna, then we have to, attract Krishna's attention that, look, Krishna, I'm here and I'm really praying for you, begging for your mercy, and I'm ready to do anything for you. So we have to be ready for that. Similarly, giving an example of Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj, we all know, like how, I would say Prahlad Maharaj's story was like a one-man show. There was only one person and everybody else was against him. His own father. We can't imagine staying in a home where your father is continuously thinking about how to kill you, how to kill. And still, look at this 5-year-old boy. He had so much faith in the Lord. He had so much, and he was so fearless that nothing was stopping him. His father tried to threaten him in so many ways, but he did not give up. He did not give us. His faith on his Lord was so high that he was willing to go through any hardships. Even if he was killed, he was ready for it. So that was the price he was willing to pay. He knew that, my father is going to kill me, but still he did not give up. He was having, I know Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and ultimate aim of life, because he had learned all this while he was in his mother's womb. So he, knowing all this, he knows what is the goal of life, and to achieve that goal of life, he was ready to go to any extent, even was ready to give up his life. And Krishna, how he reciprocated, he protected him every time, and at the end he took a completely different form. He had to take an incarnation. He came as, Narsimha Dev. So just to protect one devotee, can you imagine like how great our Lord is? So see, in material life, on material aspirations, success is not guaranteed, even if you put in a lot of hard work. But in spiritual life, what is the beauty is that Krishna, if we really attract Krishna's mercy, Krishna is going to give us unlimitedly. And that is going to continue with us for life after life, for eternity. So Prahlad Sidhra Maharaj taught us like determination, like how in our life, in any, like we're facing any circumstances, so we should not be afraid of the challenges. We should be fully determined to go on that path. Because in Bhagavad Gita there is a verse also, we have to those who are resolute nature, their purpose is one, so they can succeed. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj is teaching us like how to become successful. He's teaching us like how, like if Krishna is the personality of God and he's the father of everyone, he's the protector of everyone, if we have complete surrender and complete faith on him, he is going to protect us. Now let's move on to another example, Pandavas. So we all know, we do not have to tell like Pandavas had to go through. So first, Bhishma was poisoned, their kingdom was taken away. Then they were, tried to burn. Duryodhana tried to burn them in Lakshagri. And then, they had unwantedly, Yudhishthira had to play the game of dice, and he lost everything, his kingdom. Even his wife was distraught in public, and nobody did anything. So their whole life is full of so much, I would say sufferings, miseries, tortures. And then they were exiled for 12 long years plus 1 year of Agyatwas. And even like in Mahabharata, we see during the war how 5 sons of Draupadi were killed, how Abhimanyu was killed, immorally. So we see the whole life of Pandavas, all of them had to undergo so much tribulations in life, so much sufferings in life. But what happened to them? Ultimately, Krishna was there by their side every time, all the time. So Krishna was right there. If Krishna would have wanted, he could have simply protected them. But Krishna did not do it. He let the things happen. Why? So Krishna, because there's a reason behind it. Because see, if we are aspiring for Krishna Bhakti, Krishna praying, then Krishna will not give it very easily. Because once Krishna gives Krishna prem to somebody, then Krishna becomes servant of that person. So if Krishna is giving us Krishna prem, then he has to understand that he's now he becomes our servant. So Krishna will not give it very easily. Only if we really prove ourselves, look, Krishna, I'm really serious that I have no other aspiration in life than you, and we are not at all deviated by any struggles that comes our way, then only Krishna is going to give us that Krishna prem. So similarly, so Krishna does not leave even his pure devotees. See, the Pandavas, Krishna knew they are pure devotees of the Lord, but still, they were forced under so many circumstances, and Krishna took the test and they qualified and they passed all the tests. Because not even if enduring all this thing, not for a single moment they felt, what is Krishna doing to us? He's right there, he's not doing anything. Never ever they felt. They were completely enduring everything with patience. Their faith in God did not, decrease or did not shake. They were always surrendered and they were continuously serving Krishna with sincere devotion. And this is the price that they paid. And that's why we see now the Pandavas are glorified everywhere. Arjuna, like Bhagavad Gita was spoken to whom? It was spoken to Arjuna. Why? Because he was the right candidate. He has pleased Krishna, and Krishna gave the gyan on behalf of everybody to Arjuna. So he became the right recipient for the word that was emanating from Lord's own mouth. So we understand from these examples that all this, even the pure devotees had to undergo so much of this. What to speak about us? So we'll talk more on this. Let's see more examples. So now here is an example of Bali Maharaj. Now Bali Maharaj, we all know he was from a family. He belonged to a family of demons, and he has conquered all the three worlds, even the demigods, everybody. The whole universe, was under him. And then the small boy, Vaman comes in his life, and he asks for 3 steps of land. And being the king of the universe, he's like, yes, what is there with him? And his guru want him. No, he want him, but he don't do this. Don't give him promise. But Bali Maharaj, he gave him word, and he wanted to stand by it. So what did he do? So when Vamandev asked for 3 steps of flat, and when he started putting one by one, we know like how one after other, like everything what Bali Maharaj has conquered just went on with Vamandev. And then Bali Maharaj was there for the 3rd step. There was no place, like what to take. Everything that Bali Maharaj had was gone, and Vamandev was chastising him. You promised me 3 steps of land, and now within these 2 steps I've taken everything, and what do you have to give me? So you are not fulfilling the promise. So now think from the perspective of Bali Maharaj. He was the king, and he was in that position. He has conquered the 3 universes, and he was in that position. How much it hurts the ego of a person when somebody is doing that to you, when you are having everything and somebody is crushing your ego. Just imagine what is happening, what will happen, what is the situation. And he was in that position that he could have done anything, but instead he did not do that. What? He surrendered himself. He completely surrendered himself to Vamandev. And why did he do that? Because he was a person of character. So like in the beginning I told you, like it's not only the competence, the skills, or the attitude or the knowledge is only important. We need to have the right character. So Bali Maharaj was having that character. And in the other examples we saw, like how Prahlad, Dhruva, the Pandavas, they showed us this. It's not only the skills, or you have to have this their attitude towards enduring all this, but they also have that devotion aspect and the character aspect also. So that's why all these 3 aspects are very, very important for anybody to succeed in life. And that is what Bali Maharaj also depicted in his life. Now here is example of you can see Krishna dancing with the gopis. So we all remember, the gopis, they got the chance to personally, and Krishna, manifested himself into various, into different forms, just to, to dance personally with all the gopis. So what do the gopis do? What dress they do? On the day of Sharad Purnima, they left behind everything for Krishna. They were not bothered about anything, like, their fame, their prestige, or what will the family members do to them. They'll completely they did not think of those things. They just thought, they completely surrendered. They were like, we want only Krishna, and they left behind everything. They knew that once they come back, nobody's going to accept them, but still they were willing to do this for Krishna. So did they not take a very big step in their life? Did they not take a very great chance in their life? Yes. So we know the gopis, I mean, and how Krishna reciprocated with him. Krishna, when the gopis went there, Krishna told him that I just cannot reciprocate with what you have done. Means you have given up everything. You have completely, I mean, for a woman, her integrity, chastity is very important. But leaving behind everything without thinking, giving a second thought to it, they completely ran in the middle of the night for Krishna. So Krishna was like, I cannot do anything. Please go home. I just cannot reciprocate with you. And that's how the gopis started praying, and the Gopi Geet is there. So I'm not going into the details of it. But we should understand from the gopis, they were such simple women. I mean, they were not very highly educated or something. But they have only one aspiration in life, to achieve Krishna. And that is why we see Krishna reciprocated so nicely with them. So we see through these examples that if we want to achieve anything in life, especially if we talk about, our Krishna consciousness, our spiritual ambitions, because that is going to stay with us forever. And if we want to, get ourselves free from all the pains and tribulations of life, then we need to, cut the cycle of birth and death. And how is that possible? That is only possible only if we are willing to give that price. And all these examples, they teach us like how all these great souls, they stood, they endured, they tolerated, and how they risked everything just to please Krishna, just to convince Krishna that yes, that they want Krishna as an ultimate goal. And that is when Krishna reciprocated. So if we think that's just by somehow chanting, somehow dancing, somehow feasting, we'll be able to achieve our goal of Krishna prem, it is not going to happen. It is going to take many lifetimes. So do we want that, or we just want to complete to this very lifetime? So for that, if we want to go back to Godhead in one shot, if we want to go back to Godhead and achieve Krishna Prem in this very lifetime, then we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared, to pay the price. Otherwise, we are not going to get anything. So now somebody may ask, like you're giving these examples from scriptures, they're all very great souls, and we are just simple people, and we don't like, how can we do that? Like, yeah, do austerities like Dhruva Maharaj, the body may not cooperate. Yes, that's true. But these are there to teach us a lesson. And then moving ahead, we have examples of personalities who are there with us. I mean, who have lived with us, and we have been hearing their glories. And we will also see some examples of our current times. So let's go ahead and talk about acharyas. Sorry. So talking about Srila Prabhupada, I mean, I think we all have, heard a lot after coming to Iskcon, like Prabhupada. I don't have to tell much about him, but just trying to remind ourselves like what Prabhupada did for us. So Prabhupada, 70-year-old man, there was no need for him to do anything. Like he was already practicing bhakti very nicely. He was rightly situated in Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, and he was happily, living his life in the most perfect way. He's living his life in the most perfectly, in front of PTs, reading, chanting, writing, like everything was, there's absolutely no need for him. His life was already perfect at that time itself. But still, he took that challenge. He took that risk of going to America. And we all know how he went, like on the Jaladuta ship, which was a cargo ship. He went in that and he suffered two heart attack on the way. And imagine there's nobody to take care of him, no medical facility. And he has no idea where he's going, where he would stay. I mean, no, he doesn't know anybody. Nobody knows him. What is completely like he completely surrendered to Krishna, like completely like for just having faith on Lord, only having 40 rupees with him. You cannot imagine somebody who is so comfortably situated, bhakti wise also, like why he had to give us the loving association of devotees in Vrindavan, why he had to give up the association of, he was happily having darshan of Lord Radha Damodar. He had to give up the company, he had to give up the holy dham of Vrindavan. Why he had to do this? Because he had a goal in mind and he wanted to achieve that goal. And for that, achieving that goal, he was willing to pay any price. He was willing to risk his life. And that's what he did when he took the decision of going in the Jaladuta ship. And we know with the mood with which he went, the way he was writing, that nachao, nachao, nachao matete, kashtiri puthali jati nachete nacho. So that song which he's written, it says like how Prabhupada was like, I don't know why you have brought me here. I have don't know Krishna. I don't know what business I have. Just you have brought me now. You have to fulfill that thing. And lastly, he mentioned the last line like Kashturi Putali Jata. Like I'm a puppet in your hand. Make me dance. Make me dance. Make me dance like the way you want. As you like Krishna, make me dance. So this is why he's begging to Krishna. He's completely dependent on the mercy of Krishna without thinking about him, completely surrendered, completely giving up everything. So Prabhupada, it is not easy to see. He wanted to establish the temples, and for that he took this step of going. So Krishna tested him by giving those heart attacks. Krishna tested him, by giving so much he had to endure in that during the fight. But his determination and his strong faith in the words of his guru and in the holy name made Krishna convinced that yes, this is man who is willing to go to any extent just to propagate my message. Now I am his servant. And that's when like Krishna, he started working on his behalf. So once we are also able to qualify the test, we are able to pass that thing, then Krishna makes it happen. Everything, whatever we want to achieve in a life, that happens automatically. And the best part about spiritual achievement is that it's not going to fade away. It's not temporary. It's going to last with us lifelong. So now moving ahead, talking about personalities like Guru Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, Chapatakaswa Maharaj, Bhakti Tit Maharaj, and so many acharyas of present generations, we know. So have they not risked their life? So we all, I would like to speak about Guru Maharaj. So, if you would have attended JSS meeting, you would have got pretty good idea of what our Guru Maharaj has done for everybody and what are the qualities that he has. But just a slight glimpse here, I would just want to see. See, we all have desire, especially before coming to Bhakti. Even after coming to Bhakti also, it's not that we don't have those desires. So we want to have that aspiration of I want to job in US, I want to go to US, America. We want, and having American citizenship is something such a great thing. But think of Guru Maharaj. He was from such a royal family. He had everything in his life, but still, he gave up his American citizenship. He took up Indian citizenship. And he started staying in a place called Mayapur, where there was nothing at that time, complete a barren piece of land. He was staying there. For what? For Krishna, to fulfill the orders of his Guru. Fulfill the order of his Guru. And he went through so much, like, can't explain in words like how much he had to undergo health-wise. So health-wise, like he had surgeries, he had kidney transplant. Even now he's traveling and preaching in Dubai, in US, just to inspire devotees to take up Krishna consciousness, just begging on behalf of Krishna, begging on behalf of Prabhupada to take up his spirituality and to become serious. So he's such an inspiration to all of us, like even at this point of like when he's suffering so much with his health ailments, still he's not willing to give up. He's still wanting, I have not fulfilled this mission of Prabhupada, I have not done this, I'm still have to do this. So always in his mind, he's thinking about all these things. So these are the acharyas who are teaching us. You see, if you want to achieve anything, you have to pay the price. You have to risk your life. You have to become serious. You have to, give up everything, and you have to push yourself to the limit to achieve that. Not just this. See, if we're talking about parampara, let's talk about Bhakti Sastri Thakur also. So he was Guru of Prabhupada, and at that time, he was known as the lion guru. He was very intellectual. He's a very wonderful astrologer. He had everything. Like he was person. If he knew such good English that even the Britishers of his time, Britishers had to look for dictionary to understand what word he used. So such kind of a caliber he had. And what happened? He because, and it is also said he was ray of Vishnu. It is said. But he wanted to take initiation from whom? From Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. And who was Gaur Kishore Das Babaji? He was a man who has never studied. He was a completely illiterate person, but he was a pure Vaishnava. And his father, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, asked him to take initiation from him. And he went to his went to Gorgeswadas Babaji, asking him to give him initiation. And he did not agree. He said, okay, no, I will ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu whether if he tells yes, then only I'll give. So like that, so many to and fro happened. And he was not ready to give. And there came a point in life when Bhakti Sastri Thakur told, okay, if you're not willing to give me initiation, I am going to commit suicide. Now think of a person who is so intellectual, who has earned so much in his life, like so much of fame, prestige, and he has done so much in his life, and he's just for taking initiation, just for for getting Krishna, he is willing to commit suicide. Somebody will think, oh, he's pagal hai kya? But he was ready to give up his life. So that is the standard of a Gaudiya Vaishnava, that anything and everything, to achieve Krishna. And that was the time when Lord Das Babaji was pleased with him, and he then gave him initiation. Similarly for Bhaktivinoda Thakur also. So when he was there, a magistrate in his time, lot of Appa Sampradayas were there. Lot of Sahajiyas were there, who were in the name of Bhakti were doing all nonsense things. So I'd just like to quote one example here. So there was a mystic man called Bishak Singh. This mystic man, when he was claiming himself to be Vishnu, and he had two other friends whom they claimed to be Brahma and Shiva. So all three of them together, they were claiming themselves to be the Trinity, the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. That's what they were saying. And especially this Bishak Singh had this mystical power. So he will jump into the fire, and he will stand, sit, he will walk, and all these things he would do. He'll do anything to anybody. So he had a lot of mystical powers, and he was doing all nonsense in the name of mystical powers. And people, some of the people who were less intelligent were attracted to him, and they were funding him to build a temple, and so many nonsense was going on there. And what did Bhaktivinoda Thakur do? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a magistrate of his time. So at the point it started, this Bishak Singh started telling that I am going to give freedom from the Britishers, because that time India was under the rule of Britishers. So he was telling, I am going to give freedom from the rule of Britishers, and I will become the king of this country. So when this news came to the Britishers, they were like, oh, this man is challenging us. And then they asked Bhaktivinoda Thakur to look after him, to give him punishment, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur was holding a very magistrate, a high post. So the court cases went. So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur went to this Bishak Singh, he was like, you don't know me, I have mystical powers, I can destroy you at any point of time. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was still very humble, and he told him to go to Jagannath Puri and take darshan of the Lords, because he has so much yoga power. So Lord will be very pleased to see such a devotee. But this Bishak Singh told, like, why I have to go and see Jagannath, who is just a piece of wood? I am the controller, I am God, I can. And hearing this word from Bishak Singh made Bhaktivinoda Thakur so furious. Like, he was like, how can he talk such nonsense in front of him? And that was the time he immediately ordered his men to capture him, and he was put into the jail. And after putting into the jail, the entire family of Bhaktivinoda Thakur was going through a health crisis, because this Bishak Singh had this mystical powers. So because of him, his daughter became so seriously ill, which she was almost on the verge of death. And similarly, it started happening to all his family members. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur was affected, and his completely right side was paralyzed. So we see, so that time also Bhaktivinoda Thakur did not give up. He did not think that, oh, this person really has this mystic powers, I should give. No, because he was ready to give up his life. He was thinking, okay, it doesn't matter. Anything may happen to me. It doesn't matter, but I will not, leave people like them who, who in the name of God or in the name of devotion, you cheat people and who claim themselves to be God. So he was so much, committed to the holy name. He was so committed to the sampradaya that he did not wanted all this nonsense people to grow. And that's why, despite his health challenges also, he punished him. And later they got to know that all his mystic power was there in his head, in his hair, and they cut his hair. And finally this Bishak Singh lost all his mystic power, and ultimately he committed suicide and died. So we see how all these acharyas of the present generation, of the past, how they have completely devoted themselves, and how in their lives they went through so much challenges, so many tribulations, and yet at any point of that time they never lost their faith on Krishna. They never felt that, oh, they cannot do it, or they never deviated. They were always completely surrendered. They were always only having that one goal in mind, that they have to achieve this Krishna prem, and to achieve that Krishna prem, that they were willing to do anything and to go to any extent. So likewise, we can quote many incidences, many examples from scriptures, from real life, and understand that how to achieve anything in life, especially if you talk about spiritual life, then it's not easy. We have to give our time, energy. We have to be ready to face all the hardship. So before ending, I would also like to give example of I think we all know them, and sometimes we may think that okay, Guru Maharaj is a pure devotee, Acharyas were pure devotee, Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj, they were all great souls. What about us? What can we do? So yes, we don't have to do something big, but we have our example, our leader, Sukiti Madhvi Mataji. We all know Aramreen Gaur Prabhu. All of us know them. So now I'm asking you this question: have they not taken risk? See, they are so educated. They are. I mean, we know them. Both of them have completely given up their job so many years back, completely dependent on Krishna. Why did they do it? Today they could have lived a life, such a opulent, lavish life, because they deserve that, because they have they belong to a good family, they had good job, they had everything in life. But why did they chose this path of Krishna Bhakti? Why did they give up everything to propagate this mission of Krishna consciousness? Why did they take this risk? Was it easy, or is it easy? Like somebody tells, like I'm also working, somebody tells me to give up my job. I feel like a lot of insecurity comes within my mind. Similarly, for all of us, we may feel ki, no, I can't go beyond my limits. I cannot, come out my comfort zone. I cannot do this. But see, we have an example right here who is inspiring all of us, who is the pillar behind this, this IYS needs, this girl's preaching. If you and I, we are sitting here and we have got this Krishna Bhakti, it's because of whom? Because of her only. So she's a living example. And likewise, we have so many personalities we can go on counting, but people whom we can see, we can interact, we can, and day to day, we can see their life, and then we get more inspiration. So have they not given up their comforts? Have they not given up such lavish life just, to preach, to give the message of God, to please Guru Maharaj, to please the Paramparacharyas, and also to perfect their life? So we may feel it's not easy. So many times, especially being girls, we have a lot of challenges in terms of thinking that our family is not supportive, or sometimes girls get married and they say they're not married to a devotee family. So many situations, may come in life like that, and so much wherein we feel that, oh, I cannot chant my rounds, or I cannot, chat my hands. I cannot do any seva or anything. Like we feel like I don't have time to read in here because I'm so busy. But see, if we have taken this path of Krishna consciousness, means we've already taken the risk, because we have already landed into it. So once we have taken the risk, if we want to become successful, then we have to have that patience, we have to have that endurance, and we need to, be ready to go to any extent, to to at least follow the principle that has been given to us. And especially for us, it's very easy situation, because it's not that we have to do something very, very great or something very, very austere like what Prabhupada did. No, for us things are very easy, very easy. We don't have to do anything. We already have everything in place. Like we have such good temple, we have such nice devotee association, we have everything is there with us. It's just that inner commitment is required from within. So that is all we need, to push ourselves to understand that yes, so this opportunity we have is that we have got this human form of life, which is very, 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 very rare. We don't know what we are going to we are in our last life and what we're going to next body, but at least through bhakti it is certain that we are going to get a next human form. So this human form of life is very, very valuable. This opportunity is there for all of us. Like we have got this opportunity, and if we don't want to miss this opportunity, if we don't want to spoil this human form of life, we need to take it seriously, and we have to be ready to pay the price to go back to Godhead. And what is the price? The price is we have to follow our acharyas. We have to follow our Siksha Guru. We have to follow the commitments that we have made, chanting the rounds. And at the same time, we have to follow We have to follow this fact that that whatever we are doing, whether we are chanting, whether we are hearing, reading, or doing some seva, it is not for any material motivation. It is not for material motivation, but it is for my own purification. And we have to understand, we have to make strong sadhana, and then we have to constantly live in the association of devotees. And this association of devotees is very important because sometimes many pressure may come to us from family, from society, from within also. Like sometimes when we are not seeing any result, like maybe let's say materially or even spiritually, when we are chanting and we feel oh there's nothing is happening, I'm not actually elevating myself, we're showing no result, basically we don't get any taste. So like that, so many phases will come in our life, we may go through all these things and we may not understand like where I'm going. I have given up everything, I have given up, so I mean so much pleasures of life, the sensual gratification, so many things I've given up, but I'm not get anything. So all these things will happen, but if we have the right association, then they will guide us. Then they, no matter whatever pressure we are feeling, no matter how much low we are feeling, then they'll be there to help us, support us. And by seeing their enthusiasm, we will feel nourished and we will be able to maintain our sadhana. We will be able to go through those phases of life and we'll be able to emerge victorious. So we have to understand this point. So from these examples, we got to know that how even for pure devotees, Krishna takes test. Even for pure devotees had to go through so much trials and tribulations of life. And for what? Just to achieve Krishna prem. So now we have got this human form of life, which is very, very rare. And it's said that out of 1 lakh, so many devotees, it is very rare that somebody will become a pure devotee. And we know, to achieve Krishna prem or to go back to Godhead, it is not that this only chanting, dancing, feasting, or whatever we are basic minimum that we are doing is sufficient. No, we have to pay the price. We have to convince Krishna that yes, I am very serious and I want to attain you. And how can we prove that? We can prove that by our actions. Actions means we have to really show to Krishna that I'm serious. We have to take our bhakti seriously. We have to take some sincere, concrete steps, to go ahead in bhakti. That is very, very important. And then only we can convince Krishna. So this human form of life, if we don't want to waste, and this opportunity has dawned upon us, and if we don't want to waste, then we have to take inspiration from all these personalities. We have to keep remembering them and understand that कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है. So if I want to go back to Godhead, then I have to give up some of the comforts of my life. Then I have to be ready to chant 16 hours, 16 rounds daily in my life. I have to do some seva. I have to read, I have to hear, I have to take association of devotee. I have to, this way only through this way I'll be able to attract Krishna's mercy, because Krishna is not bound to give his mercy. But if we constantly try, then one day Krishna will listen to us. And through these examples, we also understand that how, even though praising so many situations, never there was a time when all these devotees felt that they lost their faith on the Lord. No, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and more than we are eager to go and reach Him, Krishna is, more eager to have us back towards Him. So if we take one step, Krishna is willing to take 10 steps. So if we show our sincerity, if we show our commitment, then naturally Krishna is going to help us. Naturally, Krishna will bestow his mercy, and naturally the things in our life will become very, very, smooth, very, very favorable, and we will be able to achieve that Krishna prem in this very lifetime. I can quote many examples. I don't know how much time permits, but I think with this we will end, and more we can take up in questions. Hare Krishna. Nitya, do we have time? So I can explain one or two.
Yeah, it's just like dot 7:30.
Yes, Priyanka.
I'm like, we have just like 5 more minutes to end the session.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So I was talking about this real life examples and how I told you about Mataji.
Yes.
Our
Yes,
our whole inspiration the person because of whom we are all here and we are able to attend to this class and we have got this bhakti. Similarly, like I told, I know many devotees. So there is one girl, she she was from a family where nobody was favorable, but she somehow got introduced to Krishna consciousness. And she understood that if she because in her family everything was going on, like non-veg and all those things, and She was continuously thinking, how I know the purpose of life, I know how to secure my next life. So she was thinking what to do. So somebody told her to chant 16 rounds, and then because her parents were so against it, they will not let her chant, they will not take her, they will not let her get up early in the morning, they will not let her take bath, nothing they will allow her. So what this girl will do, she will simply get up, she will uh, what she'll do, yes, she will simply get up in the morning, but she will not switch on the lights. She will just go wash her hands, mouth, face, and then what she will take, I mean, she will start, go take a pillow, I mean, sorry, this blanket, and within that, she will start chanting 16 rounds. Can you believe that, on her fingers? And she did this for many, many years. Like, I don't remember, maybe some 3-4 years she did it. And later, fortunately, she got married to a devotee person. Somebody just brought, and by Krishna's arrangement, she just got married to a family, and wherein her husband told her, I don't want you to do anything, I just want you to chant 16 rounds. So when somebody asked this girl, like, okay, what happened with you? So then, you were in such a family where nobody was allowing you, and how you manage, and now you are practicing bhakti so nicely. Then she replied, yes, because I passed my test. That time when I was unmarried, Krishna was giving me test, he was taking my test. And if that time I would have given up, I would have never got this life. So she showed her sincerity by, no matter whatever circumstances was there, she was fulfilling her vow of chanting 16 rounds in that. So Krishna, see, we don't have to do big things. That's what it means. We don't have to do real austerities like Dhruva Maharaj. We don't have to really become like Prahlad Maharaj. It's not required only. And Krishna, he knows, like, he will not give us test which we cannot pass. If some obstacle or challenges is coming in our life, we will, when Krishna will give us only of that level which we are able to pass, or which we are able to endure. He will never, for example, somebody who's studying in class 6 or 7, they will get question paper of only which is of their level. They will not get class 10 question paper. Similarly, in our life, if some obstacle is coming, some hurdle is coming, Krishna will make assures that we have that caliber to handle that. Just that Krishna is testing us, just that Krishna is trying to test, like, whether we are able to please him, or whether we are able to pass that test. So if some adversities are coming in our life, if whatever little ways we try to show our sincerity to Krishna, then Krishna becomes very, very pleased. So this girl, I mean, she could not do anything else. So what she heard, okay, at least I can chant, and for chanting she derived a measure. So there was challenges for her, but she did not, she was not depressed by that. She was rather, she thought, okay, she thought, like, what can I do maybe in these circumstances? And then she devised a means to chant her rounds, and she was doing it without letting her parents know. And eventually Krishna, and she was praying also, like, I want to go to a family where I'm able to chant my rounds nicely, I don't have to do it this way, Krishna. So she was praying regularly, and see how beautifully Krishna reciprocated to her. She got a husband who says, like, and actually I have seen that girl, actually, I mean, she doesn't have to do anything, or she just have to do bhakti, everything they have made for doing everything. She doesn't have to worry about doing anything. So Krishna, if we are committed to Krishna, and if we have the desire to serve or desire to advance in bhakti, Krishna will make sure just that. And sometimes in our lives, what happens, we have to face certain situations wherein, I mean, we don't really see a way out of it. So then we have to just accept it, because it may be because of our own past karma. So this is how we have to take it. So maybe because of past karma, and by giving this misery to me, or giving this mm, pain or suffering to me, we have to understand that Krishna is actually taking away my all the bad karmas. But at the same time, Krishna is witnessing and watching, like, what I am doing. Am I really sincere? Am I really taking bhakti seriously? Am I really wanting to go ahead and achieve Krishna? So if Krishna sees that, then he actually smoothens our path, and then he takes in, as I said, no, when Krishna is more eager to bring us back, so Krishna, he starts doing things, or making our life in such a way, moving our life in such a way, we're making things favorable and everything, just so that we can practice nicely. So we have to be assured that if we are committing something to Krishna, and if we are taking steps, and if we are moving out of comfort zone, if we are ready to dedicate ourselves, we are making inner commitments, then Krishna will certainly reciprocate. And And unlike material things, when there is no guarantee, like whether we will successful, but in the spiritual life, it's completely guaranteed that no matter what, even if we do not perfect our life in this lifetime, we don't have to start from zero. We have to start from that very next step. So that is the beauty, and that is why taking risk, or paying the price for achieving Krishna is like so blissful, because it's eternal, and it's 100% success is guaranteed, and most importantly, we don't have to come back here. So with this, I would like to conclude here. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you all for being with me. Any questions? Like, happy to address. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a wonderful session. And you also summarized it so beautifully for us. So if anybody has questions, can you all please ask in the chat window, or you all can raise your hands and we can unmute you. Mataji, I have a question actually.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, for example, there have been some days where, you just wake up with no motivation to do anything, right? But you also know, how important it's to finish your reading and your chanting every day. But there are days where you just don't feel like doing anything. So, how do you really push yourself on those days to finish your duties?
So yes, very wonderful question. And I think all of us face this. It's not that somebody who's been chanting for years. Also, there will be times when we feel such ways like, oh, it becomes very difficult. And sometimes we are really so occupied also that we really don't get time. So that's what I said, no? So it's association of devotees that keeps us going. So sometimes when we feel, I can you repeat what was the major reason for this? I just think I missed out that point.
Mataji, the major reason is like, you have, I will not say motivation, but I would say, there'll be some days where you just totally blanked out or spaced out, and probably you have a lot of things to do, but you're just not able to push yourself to do anything for that day, like zero motivation to do anything.
Yes. So that's why it is said no. So like see, so especially see, we have the sincerity, we want to chant our rounds, but at the same time we have a lot of other activities which is like more important. Even I'm working and I feel many days that it happens. So that is why it is said the best time to do bhakti is in the morning hours. I'm pretty sure nobody is going to disturb you in the morning, and before sleeping you already know that what work you have to do after 8 or 10, but you are completely assured that nobody is going to assign you work between 5 to 8. I'm pretty sure anybody, like even if you're working or even if you're a student, you at least know your next day routine. So even if you have your exams, so it depends, like I don't know how many of us chant 16 rounds, but even if there's students who chant 16 rounds, so what they have this commitment. So they see what happens is like they don't wait for the last moment to study. So all these students who are practicing bhakti in their life, they're very disciplined already, because all the wonderful good qualities they naturally come within us when we take up to chanting, when we take up to spirituality. So they are very disciplined and they do study daily. And what they do, I know students who especially reside in bass and voice. So what they do is like they chant with devotees, and it's not mandatory that if they have to go at 6 or 7 o'clock that they have to finish all their rounds, but they have some commitments. So most of them in this student life, generally they pick those many of rounds which they can do daily. So maybe it could be 8, it could be 12, or it could be 16, depending on them. And at the same time, you see, I think to especially for people who is chanting 16 rounds, I do see it takes maximum 2 hours of time. So just like how we find ourselves, time for doing other activities, for eating, or maybe for checking our WhatsApp messages, or for anything else, we have the time. It's just that we need to have that right priority set in our life. If Krishna is our priority, no matter whatever, how much we're busy, we will make sure that I finish my rounds. And see, those who take initiation and those who take commitment, this is what happens. There are days when we end up chanting like late at night. But because we have that taken that commitment, because we know that our guru will have to face the karma for it. So if we have that love for our spiritual master, then we do not want to, just leave it off. So that's it, that inspiration, that motivation, or that setting up the right priority will come if we have the sangha of right devotees. If we have such examples in our life, then we understand, oh, this person is also doing, how they are able to do, why not me? So we did. And sometimes we also, that's why we need, I think we also have mentors in our life. Sometimes, like when we feel low, or sometimes we may miss also, like let's say worst situation, if we are not able to give up, or we feel sleepy, or we somehow doze off while chanting itself, it happens. So what? So we have to make sure that the very next day my first priority is to chant. See, if we have the goal in mind and we know the how we are going to achieve that goal, then there should be no reason that we don't want to do it. And if we don't want to finish it off, means we are not fully prepared, only that we are not really committed to Krishna is not in our priority list. That's the only reason. And to get that right attitude, when we will make Krishna our priority, we need association of devotees, we need to read, we need to hear inspiring lectures, we need to chant with devotees, we need to listen from them, and at the same time we need to take guidance from seniors. So they will tell us some practical tips, like what we can do. Or if it is really very, very challenging, they will tell us, okay, at least if you have not taken a vow, you may, take commitment of doing this much only, but do it consistently. That is what is most important. We take baby steps, like slowly we do. But if we really feel like, as you mentioned, like we just don't, I don't know motivation, how to say about it, like you mentioned, spaced out. So this means we just have to think that this is my goal and I can achieve that goal only by doing these things. So just like nothing comes free. So if we want to advance in our spiritual life, we have to pay the price. We have to, push ourselves to the limit. We have to at least show the Krishna that we are sincere. And then what the beauty is, like Krishna will reciprocate. Krishna will make things automatically in our life, things will be simplified. And this has happened with, I think everybody will have the experience to share. When I personally feel the things which I'll find it very hard, I don't know how will I finish, but somehow Krishna will make it happen. Krishna does it. And I think some other time we may discuss, but it happens. Like if you show your sincerity, Krishna will help you. That's all. And take senior devotees guidance, and of course, and take as often as you can take devotee association. I think that will help.
Thank you so much, Mataji. I think we have no questions yet, so I think we can end the session.
Today is festival.
Yeah.
I'm still very grateful to all those who stayed with me, who are still there and were listening to this. So this was basically for my own purification. I'm very grateful to Sukiti Mataji for giving this opportunity, and of course to IYS girls. And yes, before ending, I would also want to say, see, sometimes we may feel that okay, only this great senior leaders and only they are qualified and they can push this. But then within our IYS also, we have so many examples, so many girls are there who have given up everything just to give their life for spreading Krishna consciousness. So we all those devotees who are sitting here, Nitya Kishori, Priya, Priya, Kaleshwari, so many devotees whom we know, they have always prioritized their Krishna conscious life, and they were ready to take any challenges just to please